Hello everyone, it is Caitlin and today we are making an 1850s wool dress. Let's get started. So I have this gorgeous light blue wool that I actually got from somebody who was selling remnants of fabric, and she happened to have two remnants of the same fabric, so I have like 6¼ yards, which is less than what I usually buy, but for wool I'm not making a second bodice, it'll just be the one bodice, so I think we'll be okay. We might have to piece a little bit, but we're going to make it work. So we're going to cut our skirt panels first. I'm going to do, because this is a very wide fabric, around 60 inches, we're going to do 2½ panels of fabric for this. So I think I'm going to cut them 45 inches long. And it's a plain weave wool, so we can rip it. Okay, let's see. I have this little bit left over. I'm hoping I can cut like some amount of the sleeves, perhaps the back or something from this. But I do need half a panel of this other one for the skirt. There's our skirt. Let me see if there's a plain weave, so both are good sides. I'm just going to sew those ends together. Put a pocket in, which I'll need to cut. Cut a pocket. We'll find some brown fabric to cut a pocket. And I think I'm going to do a watch pocket in this one in the side seam as well. So we'll just do 2 pockets. Alright, it took me a while to draft the bodice, but here we are. We're going to be using a modified version of the truly Victorian 1844 German day bodice. Modified meaning it's the 1840s pattern I made before. Slightly higher waist for the 50s, and it's been fitted to me. So the truly Victorian patterns are very, very long waisted, I have found. And so I had to cut several inches off the waist to make it fit me for the 40s, and then even more off of the 50s. So, yeah, so this is the new pattern. And of course the truly Victorian pattern opens up the back, and I didn't want it to open to the back, I wanted to open up in the front. So I had to change all that, and I think I have it figured out now. And this is the sleeve cap. Just took my sleeve pattern and shortened it basically, adding a little bit at the ends to make it kind of flare out just a little bit. Alright, we're going to attach this to the bodice. So I've been pinning the pieces together. Here's the back, the side back, and the side. Now we're going to attach the side front. I'm going to wait to sew on the fronts because the front needs to be hand gathered across a couple times first, but I need to make sure that it's going to fit first. So I'm going to do some fitting before I do that, but I am going to sew all of these pieces together, and then I can't sew the front to this until I get all the rest of it done. Alright, we're putting in a pocket. We have a nice, lovely, giant pocket. So I have a little watch pocket that I put in on the side seam. And now this pocket. So I have a how to put in a watch pocket video, and I'll link that above. And then right after that, I'll link in how to put a pocket in video, because I have a video for each of those. And the how to put a pocket in video actually has patterns from my originals included. This is kind of one based off one of my originals. But after this, I just have to sew up the side seam and put in a facing, and we'll be well on our way to have a skirt. Alright, so we're working on a facing. I just stitched it to the bottom of the skirt, and I'm using my vintage picking shears to kind of get this edge finished. I could just leave it raw, but I don't think I will. I haven't used these in a really long time to do this. I find that if you pull on the fabric, you get an edge that's much closer to the originals. Because actual picking shears, like what we would use now, they're much too small, according to what I've seen on originals. But with how long this is taking, I'm starting to remember why I don't do this very often. And why I usually just leave it raw. So I'm over here at this front panel. By the way, the dress fits now, so I did fitting on it. But I'm just going to do a little gathering thread on these little lines we made. I had to cut this down, so it's still quite long. So I'm going to need to make a few more marks for gatherings. I think we decided four rows of gathering. There we go. Alright, so all of this needs to be gathered into this. I'm going to go ahead and fold this over. Also need a running stitch up here. I forgot about that one. Alright, now at least I can get that sewn into the actual bodice. And I'm going to go right ahead and kind of just pin this to the side, just in a couple places, not a lot. And I'll pin this right onto the normal bodice, the rest of the bodice I suppose. Alright, so it's been a little bit. Again, I think it's been a weekend. It's just been a long weekend. But I am working on this bodice, trying to get the hooks and eyes put in. So I'm trying a method different than I normally do, but it's one I've seen on several of my originals, and I kind of decided, we'll try it this time. But I do have the front of the bodice sewn in, so there's the gathering part that we did. And I'm kind of just encasing the eyes, this is the eye side, within the lining and the fashion fabric, so it's like a sandwich situation. So what I did is sewed my hooks, these are my eyes, sorry, sewed my eyes to the lining and then folded the fashion fabric over top, and I am just stitching down to kind of just get them together. So there's the eyes all put in. They're nice and sandwiched in between. And then the hook side. So the hooks I sewed again just to the lining. So I turned my lining in and then just stitched them down. And now what I'm doing is I fold this over top and I'm just kind of poking the hooks in, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I'm trying to make it to where y'all can see what I'm doing. So I thought I needed an awl for this, but turns out I really don't. Just kind of push it through. You just kind of have to know exactly where the hook needs to go. Right there. So from the front side, you won't see any stitching whatsoever. It'll just all be on this side. So I'm going to continue putting all this down, and then I have lots of piping to put on. Lots of piping. Sleeves are put together though. I don't know where the one I need to sew is, but one of them I put a little bit of silk as a facing. Thought I didn't have any silk left, but apparently I had just enough. I had pieced it a couple times, but I had just enough for a lining, so that worked out really well. And the little sleeve, not cuff, cap, that's the other C word I was looking for. I just decided to line it in the polished cotton, or the just brown cotton, because I didn't have any other silk. So that's what that's going to be. We need to trim those. I have not gotten to that point yet. But, oh, here it is. This is the one I was looking for. So let's go ahead and work on this thing. So this is just the sleeve with the silk facing. Alright, sewing in the sleeves. Even on machine sewn dresses, I like to do this part by hand. Sorry, I start talking and the dogs think that I'm talking to them. But yeah, even on machine sewn dresses, I do sew this part by hand. Usually with a back stitch. And not a particularly small, neat one, even though I probably should. Then I have a little bit of trimming to finish on the sleeve, and we are done with the bodice. I have the skirt gauged. Well, I have the gauging threads put in, but we gotta actually, physically gauge it. And then it'll just be figuring out what I want to do for undersleeves and collar. Actually, I know what I want to do for undersleeves and collar. I found some really pretty embroidery on glaze. That's actually a pretty decent width. Maybe a little narrower than like typical for like early stuff, but it's not actually that bad, and I bought a lot of it. So I think I'm going to do the collars and cuffs of that, or collars and undersleeves of that. And I'm hoping I bought a lot, because I'd like to make a couple things with this. So it's just really pretty. It's actually really nice quality too. So yeah, that's going to be the collar and cuffs. I really like the blue and the white, especially when it's like the cut work and that sort of thing. You get to really see the design or the color of the dress through the design. Here's the sleeve trim, what I ended up doing. So my velvet ribbon is a little wider than hers was, but I really didn't want to have to purchase anymore. I wanted to do this strictly stash stuff because I have so much velvet ribbon. So just stitching it on with a running stitch. All the originals that I have that are trimmed with velvet, things are just attached with a running stitch. Granted, a little bit of better running stitch than mine, but still just running stitch. And yeah, you can see them on the lining, but it's gonna be okay. And here, when we turn it inside out, you can see that my stitches are not small and neat, although they probably should have been. Alright, we are going to call that good. I'm going to go find the skirt. I know where it is, I was going to go get it. And then we can sew this to a skirt and we're done. I've actually gauged this skirt twice, because the first time I meant to have an offset closure. Then I really thought about it and decided that I really wanted a center front closure. Is I had to retake out the gauging that I had already done. I had to rebalance the skirt, and now I have a center front opening dress. It's probably way more work than it was worth, but it makes me feel good about it, so that's all that really matters. Mark the center back. The center back of the skirt. Also, I realized I put the pocket on the wrong side. I put it on the left side. I usually put mine on the right side. No idea what happened there. But making two dresses at the same time, I even distinctly remember measuring to make sure they would both end up on the right side. Somehow they both ended up on the left side. I decided I don't care enough because I have originals where their pockets on the left side, so. Okay. And I just did two gathering threads, or two gauging threads, which, okay, is, pretty typical, but sometimes you see more. So we're just gonna pull. I mean, y'all seen me do gauging on the channel before. It's not like this is new or anything. If I could get it into the camera frame, that'd be great. There we go, okay. Much better. So I'm just going to kind of lay this here and pull it to where it matches pretty well, at least. As per usual, just slip that through where the piping comes in. I'll just start off with a couple stitches in the same spot to make it extra secure right at the very edge. I do like a double or triple stitch every couple of stitches just to be actually sure that it's going to stay. And keep going. And look at the pretty gauging. And there we go. Alright, I got quite a bit more to do. Alright, here we are, ready to try it on. So I have on all the 1850s under things, so chemise that I've had for years and years and years. Not wearing drawers today, probably should be, but I'm not at this very moment. Corset that we made together on the channel, I did add a bust gusset, so now they fit better, so there's actually better shaping up in here too, so looks much better. And then petticoats, 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 petticoats. 5 petticoats, under petticoat, quarter petticoat, yeah, and 3 upper ones. But here's our lovely little dress. And I didn't do anything special with my hair today. This is how I wore it to work, so this is what y'all get. I thought about putting my hair up, like actually up, but seemed like a lot of work. I have to do it tomorrow because I'm going to an event tomorrow. There are the sleeves. Okay. Make sure the collar's all the way out. Oh, I meant to add a hook and eye here. So, okay, so I had to pin this shut for a second, but I meant to do that and I forgot. That's why it was in the living room instead of being put up. Because I had something else to do with it. It's supposed to be a visual clue, but apparently I did not get that. Yeah, it just needs one more hook and eye right there, which I shall pin shut for just a moment. Alright, there we are. And that's it. So, yeah, it's a little bunchy up here. I think I just needed... I think it's supposed to go down a little bit, but it's okay. It's fine. It doesn't really bother me that much, so it'll be alright. Sleeves, I'm glad we cut off the 3 inches because they're still quite long. I don't know what happened with that sleeve pattern, but I'm glad they were too long and not too short. So that's always a plus. Little cute little undersleeves you just barely see peeking out. But yeah, I'm very happy with how it turned out. Yes, the trim's a little bit bigger than the original, but you do see trim this large in the original, so I wasn't terribly concerned about it, but I still think it gives the effect of the photograph we were going for. So yeah, there we go. It's a nice length. I have modern sandals on today, but it's a nice length. It's not too long. I'm not going to trip over it. Pockets here. I still need to add a handkerchief to it, but it's here. And I gotta remember that this one's on the left side, not the right side, because usually I put them on the right side, but apparently my brain wasn't working that day because I did 2 dresses that day, or at least 2 pockets in dresses that day, and they both ended up on the left side. So I really did not feel like taking them apart and doing it again. So now I get pockets on my left side, but one of my originals has pockets on the left side. So my early 1850s original does. So it's fine. It works out. So yeah, overall very happy with it. I'm going to bring this dress tomorrow to the event I'm going to, but I probably won't going to wear it because it's going to be like 97 degrees outside and wool and humidity is just not fun. So probably not going to wear it, but I'm going to bring it as an extra just in case I need it. But yeah, that's essentially this dress. It turned out lovely, just absolutely lovely. I love this fabric so much. Like, just this color is gorgeous and it's so light. I mean, I don't think you would believe it was wool. It is so light. This whole dress doesn't weigh very much. And usually wool, even though it's, you know, thin, will still be fairly heavy. This one, not at all. It's very light. It feels like wearing a cotton almost, but it's wool, and it'll wear really well because it's wool, and won't fade as unevenly because it's wool. So all the benefits of wool, but in a nice lightweight fabric. So this is going to be really nice for winter, particularly in Texas when winter might mean 93 degrees and it might be 27 degrees. Who knows? And sometimes it's both in the same day. So I'm very excited for a wool dress. I can just put layers on if I need to, but if it gets a little bit warmer, I won't feel like I'm suffocating, which is really nice. So, absolutely pleased with this dress. It turned out so well. I don't think there's really anything I would change about it except for maybe making this smooth that down a little bit, but it's not terribly bad. And honestly, if I actually move this back where it should go, it really doesn't need to be. Now does it? Look at that. Yep, that was just a fitting issue. That was me not pulling that down correctly. There we go. Look at that. That fixed it. Alright, so there's no problems with this dress. That's good to know. Yeah, but that is essentially the blue wool dress. I've been making a lot of things with blue wool lately. There's the 1830s dress too that was blue wool. I don't think I have any more blue wool in the closet, but blue's my favorite color, and it's really hard to get wool in really nice colors. So anytime I see it, it's like, ooh, I need to have that. So I know I have like pink wool in there. If I see it, I buy it. If it's not like an ugly color of wool, I buy it usually. So I have some other wool projects we're going to have to work on, but precious little early 1850s gown, and I look forward to wearing it in the future. So thank you so much for joining me today as we made this lovely 1850s wool gown. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. Have a fantastic week, and as always, I will see you back here on Monday.